Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Swiss Fate Reforged and Cons of Tarkir draft. We've got Goblin Heel Cutter. I was kind of in the mood to draft something aggressive, which makes me want to take the Heel Cutter over the Tarka. Tarka's a pretty excellent finisher. Tough to deny a 7-mana 6/4 flying trample. And I have been saying the last few drafts that this is a pretty rare driven format, which I do think is true. And this is definitely a rare. I don't think anybody's questioning that. Being able to get in for 12 points of damage, flying, trampling, is very strong. It's certainly potentially stronger than Heel Cutter, but Heel Cutter is probably more consistently. I mean, Heel Cutter is definitely more in line with what I wanted to do, but I think I'm going to take the rare here. I've been waiting. It's a big explosive rare. It's 7 mana, but it's just a really good card. Okay. So follow-up pick to the 7-drop Monster Dragon. We've got Hunt the Weak, which is removal. Sandstep Outcast, which is Naya colors. Not exactly what you want to do there. Douse and Gloom, which is Jund, which is also not really what I want to do. Strongest cards in this pack are probably Hunt the Weak for us, Sandstep Outcast, Douse and Gloom. And then probably not Einok Guide, although Einok Guide's a fine card. I probably want the Hunt the Weak. It's not very aggressive either. But I do want to make a Tarka work. Could also splash one of the colors in a Tarka, in which case I could either take Douse or Sandstep Outcast. But I think I'm going to take a green card here rather than a red card, so I'm going to take the Hunt the Weak, which is a fine card that stays on color pretty well with our first pick. All right, now we have a Heel Cutter, which is still good, despite us looking less aggressive with this big finisher. Another Reach of Shadows, which is certainly strong. I probably just want Heel Cutter. I mean, regardless of the fact that it's in a deck with a Tarka and Hunt the Weak, it's still a very strong card. Getting rid of a blocker and getting it for some damage is pretty nice. Doesn't matter if you're hyper aggro, mid-range, or whatever. Heel Cutter is still very playable. I think I'm just going to take that over the Ruthless Instincts. I could either, if I take a red pick here, I'm pretty much limiting myself. I guess I'm not limiting myself yet, but if I decide to go red-green, I'm limiting myself to either a red-green deck or Teamer. I'm going to take the Heel Cutter here. Just like it too much to pass it. Okay. So now there's a Battlefront Crew Shock, which is fine, but I think we're probably just taking Vault Breaker. There's also a Cloud Form here. This is interesting. Cloud Form is pretty good. It might be the best card in this pack, actually. Flying Hexproof Manifest Dude for 3 is nice. Issues with it. It puts me more blue, since I haven't even taken a blue card yet. I could play it safe and just take the Vault Breaker, which is a fine card in general. I mean, Cloud Form is certainly better than Vault Breaker, but I don't know if I want to go. I probably want to stay as open as possible for now. Cloud Form's very good. I don't know if it's worth taking a double blue card 4th pick with no fixing yet. Because I very easily could end up in 2-color, which is nice if you don't. If you end up 2-color, it's nice, then you don't have to pick up a bunch of fixing. You maybe miss out on some stuff in the cons packs, but another Heel Cutter is great. Just going to slam that. Not really giving up too much. Collateral damage, whatever. Map the Wastes. Would actually be playable in here with the Atarka, but let's just take all of these sweet dash dudes because they're good. Alright, that's a late Shockmaw Dragon. I may just want to take that. There's another Hunt the Weak, but Shockmaw with Atarka is going to be pretty insane. And this is whenever it deals damage to a player. So if this hit a player with Double Strike, the opponent would take 8 damage and it would deal 2 damage to each creature they control, which is insane. Yeah, I think we take Shockmaw here. That's pretty good. Okay, Frontier Mastodon seems fine. It's at least... I could actually take the Einok Guide as well. Maybe I want to lower the curve a bit. We don't have much for Ferocious at the moment. We have Vault Breaker, Shockmaw, and a Tarka. And this finds you lands in a pinch, which is nice. It's also a 2-drop. Mastodon is potentially better if I end up with a bunch of high-powered dudes, but I think I'm actually going to take Inoc Guide. I feel like it makes for better turn progressions aggressively and for the late game. Being able to find my mana if I need it, or getting the Heel Cutter turn 3 dashed with no blocker is pretty nice. Alright, I think another guide seems fine. They're like pseudo-fixing too, which is kind of nice. Alright, I'm not sure I need Smoldering Efreet. Return to the Earth's a fine card, but it's probably better sideboard. Let's just take the Blossoming Sands in case there's something white I for sure want to splash. Okay, so I could take Cash Defenses here, Inoc Guide, or Formless Nurturing. I already have 2 Inoc Guides. How good is Cash Defenses, though? Cash Defenses is fine. I don't have any problems with it. Heel Cutter rewards you a little bit more for actual creatures. I'm going to take Inoc Guide. I feel like getting my 2-drops out of the way now is kind of convenient for me. And they're better than Smoldering Efreets for sure. Plus, I could get some Outlast guys that, like Longshot Squad or something, that give me rewards for putting the +1/+1 counter on them. Let's take the Return to the Earth here for the sideboard. I'll take a Collateral Damage. I might want to play it. I don't think it's a bad card. It's not exactly what we're looking to do here, but if I end up getting like Active Treason or something, I could see it being a nice option. Okay, here I think we're just going to cut the best card in the pack, which is the Cunning Strike, and potentially play it if we end up in Teamer. Alright, I probably don't need another 7-drop, so we'll take the Rune Mark in case I want to play that. But not super likely. I like our creatures so far, though. So if we can pick up some removal out of the next couple packs, I feel like we'll be set up a little bit better. But we do have Hunt the Weak and Collateral Damage at the moment, which is not bad. So if we get Active Treason or like Jeering Instigator, you get higher upsides to playing Collateral Damage. Okay. So there's a Hardened Scales, which is actually a reasonably good turn progression with Inoc Guide. But I think we're looking at, I mean, Abzan Falconer is very strong, especially with triple Inoc Guide. Maybe I just take a Naya card here. We do have the Blossoming Sands. It's pretty awkward. I feel like I'd rather have a Burn Away. It's just very good removal in general. And we're not giving up too much. Maybe a Swiftwater Cliffs, but let's just get a good removal spell here. I'm fine with that. Maybe we play 2-color. I'm also okay with that too. All right, there's the Longshot Squad here. I think, especially if we're 2-color, we probably just want the Hordling Outburst. Very good with the collateral damage. Potentially good if we get a Trumpet Blast. It's also good alongside the Heel Cutters as well. So seems like a reasonable pick to me. Okay. Here's the Instigator. There is an Arrow Storm as well, but I think I actually want the Instigator since I have the collateral damage, and because I just like the fact that I said Instigator and then we got it since it's a rare. So I think Instigator's a great card, and it seems like something that's pretty good for this deck too. Actually, another cool thing you can do is Instigator, steal a guy, and then Hunt the Weak. So you can even like fight and kill a couple other guys. It's actually kind of nice. Otherwise, Mandrills or Aerostorm would be fine as well, but I'm actually satisfied with the Instigator there. All right, here's an Active Treason. I've already got the Instigator now, so I'm a little bit less inclined to take Active Treason. Although Active Treason alongside a Heel Cutter is also really pretty bonkers. Otherwise, I could take a Windscarred Crag and get another way. I mean, there's really no big benefit to playing Naya, so maybe I just want the Active Treason. It just seems like a little bit early to do it. And it is, but otherwise I could take a Windstorm for sideboard, which is also reasonable, but I guess we'll take the Act. Active Treason's pretty good. Okay, Warshrieker actually doesn't synergize all that well because it's a raid card with Hordling Outburst, Vault Breaker, or Double Heel Cutter. I mean, you have to look at them more as 4-drops when you're considering raid cards, unfortunately. Um, could take the Swiftwater Cliffs here. I'm okay with that. I mean, there's a chance that Warshrieker gets okay if we end up with a bunch of Morph, but right now it's just not looking that good. I think we're just going to take the Cliffs. There's a chance I still want to go Teamer. Okay, so here's a Become Immense, which is certainly good. There is a Frontier Bivouac, though, which already fixes for our colors, as well as potentially gives us more blue splash capabilities. I would actually like Become Immense, but I think I'm going to take the Bivouac here, just in case I see some blue that looks appealing. Maybe out of pack 3. Sagu Archer and Flock are fine, but I think I'm going to take the Thornwood Falls. Just basically getting a bunch of teamer fixing. All right. Bloodfire Expert seems fine. I'm going to take it over the Highlands, I think. Even though Highlands obviously fits this deck just fine, too. I like the Expert more for stuff like the Heel Cutter. I want some early threats. We actually look like we'd be... There's a chance that we just end up red-green beatdown. But I like that we have good fixing right now for teamer. We can take Disdainful Stroke for sideboard. Maybe we'd rather have the Naturalized for sideboard. Although we already have Return to the Earth, so actually I think I will take the Disdainful Stroke. In case we end up blue. Well, we got one anyway. But I'm going to take Tormenting Voice here, which is actually a fine card to have in general. Alright, Swift Kick is playable. Not that amazing in this deck. But Wind Scout doesn't seem super likely. But it honestly seems more likely than Swift Kick, so I guess we'll take it. I'm just going to cut red here, even though it's not the best card. I just kind of want to establish that I want to cut as much red off as I can so we can get kind of hooked up with as much as possible out of pack 3. Feed the Clans a fine sideboard card. We're close to like mono red at the moment. But with triple Inoc Guide, we certainly have enough blue fixing already. 3 blue fixers and triple Inoc Guide. We're fine for a blue splash at this point. So be nice to see one. Grim Haruspex is good. Bring Low is fine. I think we probably are taking the Grizzly just because it's another threat with 4 power. Still works pretty well alongside the likes of Heel Cutter and Active Treason and stuff like that. Otherwise, Bring Low would be fine as well as a removal spell, but we're actually doing decent on removal already, right? Collateral damage, Hunt the Weak, Act and Instigator, sort of, Burn Away. We could use more, but I think I'd rather have the Grizzly here. I like it quite a bit, especially if we end up Teamer. We haven't seen a blue spell yet that motivates me. Treasure Cruise might be a good enough motivator. Works well alongside the Tormenting Voice as well. Warshrieker still does not look good in here. Gets us an Expert and doesn't even get us a Grizzly. It gets us an Expert and an Instigator so far. That's about it. I think I'm going to take Treasure Cruise. We have a Vault Breaker and a Tormenting Voice for filling our yard. So even collateral damage kind of fills your yard a little bit if you end up sacking a real creature. Treasure Cruise is just a good card. I like drawing cards. Otherwise it's Thornwood Falls, but I'm going to actually take the Treasure Cruise. If we don't end up playing it, whatever. Alright, so 11 creatures currently. I might just want the Loxodon. I think Dragon Scale Boon's fine as well. And there's an Aerostorm. I guess I could consider that. It depends on... I'd like 15 creatures, though. It's usually my minimum. I'm kind of feeling the Loxodon. I think there's a decent argument for the Aerostorm, though. I'm kind of low on creatures, and this is the last pack, though. Barrage does work well with the Grizzly and the Expert, but we've already got a moderate amount of evasion with the Heel Cutters. Although it works well with the Dragons as well, but they already fly, so maybe it's less important. Probably table the Barrage. I kind of want the Aerostorm, but it's tough. I need to make sure that I'm getting 4 more creatures after that. Well, guess I'm going to take the Aerostorm just because I like it so much, but I do like that Loxodon as well. That's tough. It was a tough pick. All right, Long Shot Squad here seems correct. Yeah, it's another 4-drop, but these kind of double as 3-drops, which is nice. Okay, this is nice. So now there's Warname Aspirant, Bloodfire Expert, Highland Game. We look a bit slower than I'd like because of the Shockmaw and a Tarka. So maybe I'd like one of these 2-drops rather than the Bloodfire Expert. The Expert's going to be better if we end up with... Expert's going to be better if we end up with a Barrage of Boulders in this deck, but I'm not entirely convinced this is a Barrage of Boulders deck. Maybe I just want the 2-drop. Well, which 2-drop would I prefer? I don't know. I guess we're primarily red, so probably a red one. This potentially has more attack power on turn 3 as well. I think I'm going to take the Warname Aspirant. I do like Highland Game quite a bit too, though. Okay. I don't really need any of these cards so much. Guess I can take a Singing Bell Strike maybe. Scout the Borders does actually fill the yard for Treasure Cruise and find a Tarka. Maybe I take that. I'm not sure if I play it yet. Dragon Throne is a card I like more than most people do, but I'm not exactly sure this is a deck for it. I actually like Awaken the Bear quite a bit. I think I'd rather take that. It's a good combat trick. Here I think I'm just going to hate a Sultai Charm. I could take the Tracker, but Sultai Charm's actually good enough where I don't want to play against it. Witness I'll take over the Despised, I think. There's a chance we play it. It's our 23rd card. Alright, so currently off a War Shrieker I can play an Instigator. I'm not going to play Active Treason, so Expert and Witness. That's not a lot, but I guess I'll take the War Shrieker anyway. I think I'll just hate a land here. I guess maybe we're not playing Treasure Cruise. I'll take a Howl of the Horde, but I don't think we're playing it. Maybe we're just playing red-green. I guess we can do that. I was thinking we'd see some Teamer cards out of Pack 3, but I'm fine playing red-green. We did at least get a really solid in-game rare, and we have a good amount of threats early on. Highland Game's actually a great pickup here, too. It's a nice 2-drop to get. All right, let's cut the Treasure Cruise. I think we're just probably... We could splash for Treasure Cruise. It's not like it hurts our mana base at all, running these. It's just playing some tap lands. And then I don't even think I have to run an island because of the Inok guides, but maybe I do just in case. But 1 blue card with 3 fixers already, I probably don't need it. I mean, I certainly don't mind having Treasure Cruise. Being able to refill your hand is convenient. I do have a Cunning Strike, which I could potentially play as well. Something to keep in mind. Plenty of creatures. Guess the question is, do I need to play Treasure Cruise? Probably not. I mean, it seems like an easy cut. I do already have a Tormenting Voice, which gives me a decent amount of card draw. There's a chance I don't want the War Shrieker in here. Like I said, I don't have a ton of things I can play off of it. I can play a Warname Aspirant off of it. Let's count the total number of things I can play off of it. So I can play a Tormenting Voice off of it. I can play Collateral Damage, Warname Aspirant, Witness, Bloodfire Expert, and Jeering Instigator. So 5 spells. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. I think I'm going to cut the Treasure Cruise. I think it's a fine card and probably easy enough to splash in here, but I'm not seeing a big reason to do it. We look like we can play a pretty decent looking red-green beatdown deck. Although a Tarka, I guess, is a bit awkward in that, but These can find lands. I don't know. With double heel cutter, we just look like we're pretty beat down. I could have probably played triple heel cutter pretty easily, actually, but I'm still okay with how this looks. So we need to make one more cut, I think. Removal is collateral damage. Awaken the Bear is a trick. Hunt the Weak, Arrowstorm, Burn Away. That's not bad. We have 17 creatures, including Hordling Outburst. Witness is not amazing, but I need to play... If I'm playing the War Shrieker, I need to play everything alongside it. I do have to play 17 lands, I think. Otherwise, Tarka seems pretty difficult to cast. I still kind of want to keep the Tormenting Voice. I kind of like what it does as like a pseudo card. Like, I kind of want to run Tormenting Voice if I'm not running Treasure Cruise, just so I have some moderate amount of card quality increase there, a little bit of card advantage. I guess you end up discarding this and another card and getting... So it's almost like a big cycler, but it does increase your card quality quite a bit. I mean, I could cut a creature. Like, maybe I could cut the War Shrieker. I could cut a Guide, but I kind of want to keep all my 2-drops for some reason. I just like being able to go 2-drop into Heel Cutter. I feel like it's really good. It's really aggressive. Especially with Active Treason and Instigator. You can do some pretty bonkers stuff. Well, if I'm being this aggressive, I kind of don't want to cut a War Shrieker. I kind of want to keep both my dragons, too. They're just really good finishers. I could see cutting Active Treason because I already have the Instigator, and I'd rather play the Instigator. I think I'm going to cut Active Treason. Active Treason collateral damage is good, but Instigator essentially does the same thing, and I'd rather have the body. So I think this is going to work for me. So we're more red than green. We do have a Bivouac, which fixes for us. But I think that's it. No Rugged Highlands, which is fine. 10 and 6. I don't know if I need to do that much. I think I'd rather do 10, 8. Although most of our early stuff is... What about 9, 9? I need double red, but I need green early. 9, 9 seems like a pretty safe one. I need both early, and I need them both. I think even split is actually fine in a deck like this. I do need double red for 3 spells, but with 9 I should be able to see 2. I would think. Okay. Overall, I do like this deck. I think it's fairly powerful. I feel like I could have drafted it differently and maybe gotten another heel cutter and lost my Atarka, but I actually kind of like having Atarka in this deck. It's a nice way to draw to victory. And with 17 lands, I might have a hard time casting it sometimes, but I feel like the triple Einok Guide sort of helps that. If I have an Atarka in my hand and I'm just looking for that 7th land, Einok Guide can at least give me the guarantee for next turn that I get my land. Okay, I guess I'm going to run it like this. So overall, I'd probably rate this deck at probably like, I guess it's still like 6.5 out of 10. We did get enough early game where I'm not concerned about that, but I could have used some more bomby like rares. I guess between Instigator and Atarka, we have some decent rares, but Instigator is almost like a glorified Active Treason. And although it's not glorified, I like it more than Active Treason because it's got some versatility to it, but it's like Active Treason. And Atarka is pretty much in a league of its own, so at least that's like a nice, powerful creature in here. Yeah, I think this deck could do all right. So we'll run it like this, and we'll see you round one.